What up, ladies and gentlemen? We back with another reaction, but we are reacting to something different today. It's not an anime, but it's related to anime, okay? Every anime studio explained in 70 minutes. And let's just get into it without further ado. But make sure to subscribe to my channel and like the video and follow my Twitch. Okay.
Studio Toei was founded in 1948.
And shout out to Ari Kando. Shout out to you.
Oldest animation studios, and it's responsible for
Back
some
in
of
my
the
days,
biggest anime
Toei.
ever, like
Okay.
Dragon Ball, One Piece, Sailor Moon, and much more.
Oh,
because they've
that's
been around for
goated.
so long, they have a history that I can't entirely cover, but I'll try. Toei actually helped popularize trends like magical girls with Sailor Moon, or Super
Ooh.
Mecha with Mazinger Z, and Toei Animation can generally be a
I know
mixed
that one.
bag. Because they take on so many projects and have many different teams working on different productions,
Okay.
the quality can vary wildly. If you see that Toei is animating something, you should check the actual staff involved with that series, and that usually is a better indicator of the actual quality that that series will have.
So, Toei is a studio that made Dragon Ball and One Piece.
Just look at the inconsistency.
Whatsoever,
in One Piece.
whatsoever.
Some of the episodes are jaw-dropping, but some are just like, eh. But one of the best things about Toei Animation is that their workers are unionized, meaning that they are generally treated amazingly compared to other anime studios. From what I
okay.
understand, working on One Piece is a pretty smooth and positive experience. Studio Madhouse was founded in 1972 and is well
Okay, so
regarded
that
in
was
the anime
Toei.
community for their sheer quantity of quality
Damn, I just had an ad. I had to edit that out.
shows that they produce. This is mainly because
Okay.
the former founder and CEO, Masao Maruyama, had connections to people like Satoshi Kon, Mamoru Hosoda,
Oh
and Masaki
my
Yuasa,
God.
some of the best anime directors.
This anime right here is goated.
They were able to consistently
good.
pump out bangers. They've made a ton of insanely high quality projects like Perfect Blue, Death
Perfect
Note,
Blue.
One Punch Man,
Yeah.
Hunter, and even just recently Freerun. Unfortunately, in 2010, a big
trying to watch
split
that.
happened between Madhouse, and they lost a lot of their core staff. In addition,
Oh.
Maruyama left to make MAPPA, which really hurt Madhouse in the long run. We'll get to that
Okay.
later. But surprisingly, they seem to have rebuilt themselves, and it looks like they are still capable of pumping out amazing shows while still grabbing industry veterans, as shown with Freerun. And honestly, I doubt that fact will change in the future because of their legacy. However, just like other anime studios, Madhouse has had problems with overworking their employees. In 2019, a production assistant said that he worked over 393 hours in a single month. That's f***ing insane.
Okay.
And he ended up joining a union to actually sue Madhouse for the overtime. Studio Ghibli is probably the most widely recognized anime studio in the world, and that's for good reason. Only 2 anime movies have ever won Oscars, and both belong to Spirited Away and The Boy and the Heron, respectively. In 1985, Miyazaki and Takahata broke off from Toei Animation to form Ghibli, along with Toshio Suzuki. It is worth noting that Hayao Miyazaki is pretty much the face of Studio Ghibli. Every work with his name attached seems to garner a ton more attention. Also,
Oh, really?
if you're wondering why a lot of his movies feature airplanes and casualties of war, his brother's company actually manufactured rudders for planes in World War II. Kind of explains why The Wind Rises was made. After writing his breakthrough manga, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, he ended up directing Ghibli's first ever movie, an adaptation of that same manga, and it was a huge success. And this
Okay.
kickstarted the
Never
studio's
watched that.
legacy. Ghibli in general is known for their high quality animation, background
I can
art,
see that.
and extremely memorable music by Joe Hisashi. Ghibli films are mostly hand-drawn using watercolor and acrylic paints, and most of their movies use traditional animation methods, where each frame is drawn and colored by hand. Because of this, their movies give off almost a cozy European vibe that have a lot of emphasis on the nature and backgrounds in each scene.
I like
mean,
that.
seriously, look at the backgrounds in Ghibli films. They look amazing. People
Yeah.
usually regard Spirited Away or Totoro as their best work, as they have the most critical acclaim and popularity. Personally, I think Howl's Moving Castle, Grave of the Fireflies, and Princess Mononoke are their best works. Wit Studio is
Okay.
a new studio founded in 2012
Attack
by
on
production
Titan,
head
goated.
Chief. The studio was essentially created for their first project, Attack on Titan. Yes, literally one of the best anime of all time.
It
was the
is?
studio's first project, and they are also responsible for some of
Was
the
the
biggest
first
anime,
project?
like Spy Family and Vinland Saga's first season. Wit Studio is known for their amazing action sequences with dynamic camera angles, and a lot of this can be attributed to Tetsuro Araki. The action and pacing he gave to Attack
Shout
on
out to
Titan's first few
Tetsuro Araki.
seasons has created some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. They've also reportedly started work on a One Piece reboot, which is low-key crazy considering One Piece hasn't even finished, but whatever. On one hand, it's insane to think that they're working on so many projects, but on the other hand, this is the anime industry, so we can imagine what these animators are actually going through. And in 2015, an interview
I'm trying to see like the studio, like, bro, look, editing, writing, drawing. Bro, shout out to every anime studio. They're working so hard.
was done
So
with
hard, like imagine.
Numa, a staff member at Studio Wit. When they asked about his experience, he said, "It's a battlefield. Basically, what you see on Attack on Titan is what I see at Studio Wit. One comrade falls after another." What is going on at Studio Wit? Apparently, the default lunch of Studio Wit members is energy bars, and they all magically revive after eating one and then go back to work. Yeah, wow. I hope they're exaggerating because that sounds pretty horrible.
It is, bro.
Sunrise Studio was founded in 1972 and revolutionized how anime was made. Instead of having a production revolve around a single person, they created the role of producers who invested in anime together to mitigate risk. This helped them create many classics like Cowboy Bebop, Patlabor, Code Geass, and of course, the Gundam series. They've also formally been renamed to Bandai Namco Filmworks.
I never watched them, to be honest.
As a studio, they're well known for their fluid animation sequences, which gave them the nickname Sunrise Smooth. Honestly, Sunrise Smooth. Cocktail. Like Toei, because they are so big, they have smaller teams simultaneously working on their projects. And because of that, it's also a mixed bag. Sunrise's studio is hugely influential. I mean, just take a look at how popular Gundam as a series is. A lot of that can be attributed.
Whoa, 100 billion?
Sunrise's great anime adaptations of the franchise. In addition, they produce a ton of great classics and have the name recognition to pull in industry veterans. And that's not the only genre that they've revolutionized. Love Live was created by Sunrise Studio as well, and has pretty much made anime idol girls that much more popular. And in terms of working conditions, it seems that Sunrise is pretty good and treats their full-time employees well. Studio Gainax was founded in 1984 and used to be considered the GOAT of anime studios. Their first big commercial success is considered to be Gunbuster, which is still a widely influential anime, but they would end up making something that was even greater. One of these university students who founded Studio Gainax was named Hideaki Anno, and he would head Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is one of the most influential anime of all time, and is widely considered to be the studio's best and most popular work, and it allowed the studio to keep making great projects. Shows like Karekano, Fooly Cooly, and Gurren Lagann are results of these, and arguably some of the best anime to ever be created. My opinion. The reason Gainax shows are so good is because they're so creative. And a part of this idea is something called the Gainax ending, where a Gainax show will end kind of unexpectedly or weirdly.
Oh,
this is done
I hate
out of
that.
An artistic or creative decision, or sometimes it's just done to meet deadlines. But the Gainax ending is known in the anime community as kind of a staple of the studio.
I don't like bad ending or unexpected ending. Sometimes you're watching an anime show and it's so good, so good, so good. But if they getting like to episode 10 to like the end, you're just like, what the fuck am I watching? And I hate that. It's like ruined the mood. I hate it. I don't.
Unfortunately, Gainax didn't last forever. Studio Trigger was founded by former Gainax staff members Hiroki Imaishi and Masaki Otsuka in 2011, and it definitely feels like it's carried on that creative spirit that Gainax had. They immediately came out swinging with series like Kill la Kill and movies like Little Witch Academia. Gurren Lagann, one of Gainax's later works, definitely served as the core inspiration for a lot of Trigger's early works. Trigger is also known for their crazy plot lines and fluid visuals, both of which complement each other perfectly. Their storytelling is often chaotic and comedic at the same time, which helps their exaggerated animations sell that much more. If you want a good example of some of their recent works, Cyberpunk Edgerunners was absolutely amazing.
Me personally, I'm not really a big fan of this kind of animation, the high quality animation. It does not even look like anime for me. It looks like a regular movie for me.
And that's just me. She's looking to be a more grounded, but still action-packed Trigger show. MAPPA is one of the most well-known animation studios today for their amazing work on shows like Jujutsu Kaisen. They were founded in 2011 by seasoned anime producer Masayo Maruyama after he left Madhouse. Due to his connections, MAPPA was immediately interconnected with the anime industry. But in 2016, Maruyama left and was replaced by Manabu Utsuka, which resulted in huge changes to the company's culture and goals. MAPPA as a studio now more has a reputation of being very reckless. They've grown extremely fast due to taking on a bunch of projects and still being able to deliver quality animation. But of course, we talk about anime, we have to talk about their work practices and how they get that quality animation in the first place. Everything from the scheduling, the work hours, and even the culture has been criticized at MAPPA. This became a trending topic during Jujutsu Kaisen's second season. Animators on Twitter revealed that their time at MAPPA was horrible. One person who worked on the final part of Attack on Titan said that they finally got to go home after 3 days. Like, MAPPA, what are you doing to the animators? Let them out, please. Unfortunately, MAPPA has zero to little reason to stop their practices because the properties that they're adapting are some of the biggest in the world. like Vinland Saga Season 2, Chainsaw Man, and Attack on Titan. They also have a
Wow.
ton of connections within the industry, and that's why they're able to get so many talented animators in their studio despite the horrible pay and working conditions. I only hope that it can get better, because MAPPA is truly working these animators into the ground.
Really?
Kyoto
Oh
Animation,
god, they do.
also known as Kyo Ani, is very different from MAPPA, and it's considered to be the gold standard of workplace culture for anime studios. Founded in the
that?
city of Kyoto in 1985, the married couple Yoko and Hideki Hata have, in my research, always fostered a great work culture. And unlike other studios, Kyo Ani employees are salaried and not freelancers. In addition, they even have training programs for young animators to work underneath supervisors
Okay.
and learn throughout their career.
Education.
You might be surprised to hear that most animators aren't even technically full-time employees. But yeah, that is the industry standard. But KyoAni is very different. They have full-time employees that even get benefits like maternity leave, which is insanely good and almost unheard of in the anime industry. Now, why are they able to afford all of this? Well, usually anime studios make very little money, even if their anime does really well. The reason for this is that anime studios don't really fund anime themselves. Production committees do. Depending on the studio and the amount of
that's
producers
kinda
involved,
different.
the amount of money that the studio actually sees after anime can be pretty variable. MAPPA, for example, doesn't usually keep a large slice of the pie. KyoAni, on the other hand, he has a huge slice when they produce anime. But why is there a difference? The reason is very unique to KyoAni. In 2009, they started hosting the annual Kyoto Animation Awards in 3 categories: original novels, manga, and scenarios. And a lot of their biggest work have come from these contests, the most notable ones being Chunibyo or Violet Evergarden or even Free. This means that even if the anime
Violet
doesn't do
Evergarden.
amazing,
Violet Evergarden is so good. Make sure to watch it. And you will thank me later.
they still make a majority of the revenue from that anime because they are licensing
Oh my
those
God.
projects. And because KyoAni doesn't
Oh my
have
God,
this
but-
pressure of external producers,
So
they can also
beautiful.
take way longer to work on their anime. That's why when you watch their shows like Violet Evergarden or Hibiki Euphonium, you can see the love and care in every
Yeah,
single shot. I mean, come on,
actually.
genuinely, look at this animation. This is some of the best animation that the medium has to offer, and all the employees were treated fairly. It's the best of both worlds. Their
Okay.
work culture and business model has been very successful, and I hope the best for them, and I hope more anime studios start to move in this direction.
I hope so.
And they're also known for making people cry. I mean, if you watch Clannad or Canon, you know
Violet
that,
Evergarden.
that shit makes you cry, man. A1 Pictures was created by a former Sunrise staff producer in
AI?
2005.
I want.
And they're pretty interesting because their works are very variable in terms of animation quality. Usually depends on if the project has the budget and if
I
the
like this
production
kind of
schedule
animation.
itself is good. But they are well known in the anime community for consistently releasing a ton of anime.
Really?
Specifically light novel adaptations. A lot of these don't really hold up in the long term, although it's not to say that they never release good looking shows. You know, Sword Art Online, Solo Leveling, and Kaguya-sama all look really good. But at the same time, their releases include Arrow Manga Sensei, which is like, eh. Also, in 2018, a section of A1 Pictures broke off into Cloverworks Studios, which is still managed by the same Aniplex parent company, but tends to have a much higher benchmark of animation quality within their shows. It's also worth noting that A1 Pictures has a pretty bad reputation.
I don't
for
like its
working with
animation.
employees. In 2014, a 28-year-old employee at A1 Pictures worked over 600 hours a month for 3 years.
Damn!
And ended up committing suicide. This has forever stained their reputation.
Bro.
Shame on you, A1 Pictures. SARU was founded in 2013 by famous anime director Masaki Yuasa and animator Eun-young Choi, who had a long history with Yuasa. Their first work as a studio was actually an episode of Adventure Time, but their first series was Ping Pong the Animation. In addition, they don't really care about the nationality of their employees, instead choose them based on their skill. This means that a ton of SARU employees aren't even Japanese. As a studio,
Oh.
SARU is known for being out of the box. They experiment with really insane color palettes and are not afraid to push the envelope with series like Devilman Crybaby, which has tons of gore, gay sex scenes, and a whole lot more that I can't show. A lot of their weird energy does come from Masaki Yuasa, but Science Saru recently
freaky.
released Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is just as weird despite not being directed by Yuasa at all. If you want some more Science Saru recommendations, I would highly recommend Devilman Crybaby, Ping Pong the Animation, and Keep Your Hands Up Azuka. Also,
Ping Pong
watch out for
Animation is
Elden
kinda
Ring.
new.
It's coming out soon and is aimed by Science Saru.
Fire!
really excited
I'm
for
reacting
this
to
one.
that. Make
Studio
sure to check them out. Check them out.
Studio Shaft was founded in 1975 and are known for their experimental visual styles. Some popular example of Shaft anime are Madoka Magica or the Monogatari series. You can immediately tell that you're watching a Studio Shaft production due to the work of directors Akiyuki Shinbo, Shino Numa,
Damn.
and Tatsuya Oishi.
He has
who
aura.
formed what is known as Team Shinbo. This Team Shinbo led to very distinct stylistic ideals with whatever project that they were working on. Sometimes they would use sharp color contrast, high-paced jump cuts, and even place real-world objects within the animation itself. All of this gives Studio Shaft anime a really surrealist feeling, which I think is super cool. Ufotable. The Monogatari series also features iconic moments like the Shaft head tilt, which is actually confirmed by Team Shinbo to be a Studio Shaft staple. Although Shaft has lost a lot of their core staff over time, including the disbandment of Team Shinbo, they still produce popular shows like March Comes In Like a Lion and Quintessential Quintuplets. Ufotable was founded in 2000 by Hikaru Kondo after he split from Telecom Animation Film. They are well known for their strong relationship with the game company Type Moon, and they've adapted a ton of their games, like the Fate series and Garden of Sinners, as well as working with them to create animations for their in-game cutscenes. Ufotable is most notable for their incredibly vibrant and colorful animation. As I'm sure many of you have seen with Demon Slayer, arguably Ufotable is the best studio in the industry at combining 3D
actually a
computer
really
graphics
great anime.
with traditional 2D sakuga. Like Kyoto Ani, Ufotable hires a lot of their employees full-time and is regarded as one of the better animation companies to work for. I'm not really sure where they're getting all that money from, but wait a second, they committed tax fraud? Yeah, this is something that I actually didn't know about until I made this video, but apparently Hikaru Kondo refused to pay around $4 million in taxes, and also the Japanese government made a report noting that Ufotable was suspected of misappropriating funds from a charity auction for the 2011 Tohoku earthquake. They never ended up filing charges, but Kondo resigned, and because of this, he is now facing up to 20 months in prison. Top G move, if you ask me. Studio Bones was founded in 1988 by former Sunrise staff members who were bored on working on mecha anime and wanted to try more creative projects. Studio Bones is most well known for their insanely well executed fight and action sequences. In fact, you could argue that they have some of the best 2D sakuga in the industry right now. A huge reason that they're known for this is because of Yutaka Nakamura, known as one of the GOATs in animation. He's popularized techniques like the Yutapon cube, which is where debris forms cubes to show the destruction. You can see the influence of Yutapon cubes across the industry. I mean, even in The Legend of Korra, I've seen Yutapon cubes made for debris. And even now, Nakamura continues to innovate at Bones. Because of this, they've created some absolute bangers over the years, like Cowboy Bebop the movie, the Full Metal Alchemist series, Mob Psycho 100, or High School Host Club,
I don't know that
Academia,
one.
I mean, much more. Just
Wow,
go through
okay.
Bones' catalog. It is impeccable. Studio Orange was founded by 3D CG animator Eiji Inomoto in 2004, who is well known for his works in Ghost in the Shell and Zoids, specifically the 3D animation.
They always feel like a nerd.
Outsourced 3D animation until 2013, when they started doing co-productions with other studios to make shows like Black Bullet. But then Orange started making completely new anime, with shows like Land of the Lustrous being met with great critical reception for actually having good CG. Studio Orange is so unique
What is
in
the
their approach to
animation?
3D animation that I can genuinely tell that they understand the strengths of CG and how to play into them. Usually in 2D anime, CG is just kind of thrown in there when an object is difficult to animate, and it doesn't usually blend all that well. Meanwhile, Studio Orange makes sure that all of their models feel like they are genuinely alive instead of just stiff figurines.
I don't like
Character expressions genuinely feel magical and alive, almost Disney-like, but with that anime touch. And this is because they don't shy away from using 2D animation to first sketch out what the facial expressions might look like. Using both mediums like this results in a product that is greater than the sum of its parts. And you can see this clearly in their newest series, Trigun Stampede, where Vash's facial expressions and movements just feel so fluid and alive. I genuinely love them. Their 3D animation doesn't make me gross out or wish that the studio had more budget to just make it 2D instead, because the anime genuinely looks better in 3D, and I think it's a sign of more 3D animation to come. Before I end this video, I want to let you all know that I stream on Twitch a lot. Check out my Twitter for updates on videos.
Shout out to this man. What's his name again? Ari Kando. Okay, so what I want to say is shout out to every anime studio. You know, it's so hard to be sitting on your table and be making anime and drawing pictures for 300 fucking hours each month. That's fucking nuts. I tell you that. But alright. Really great studio. Shout out to Ari Kando, and we are out. Hope you like this video. Subscribe, follow my Twitch, and I'm out.